Greetings and welcome to the first GrandRally webinar of 2017. We are going to get started in just a few minutes.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Greetings. You are on the first GrandRally webinar of 2017. We are going to get started in about 1 minute. Greetings all and welcome to the first GrandRally webinar of 2017. We are excited that you have joined us and really looking forward to the GrandRally in May. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. To hear the presentation, you have two options. You can listen through your speakers on your computer, or you can call in on the phone line. So we have the information up on the screen for the call-in number. As we move through the presentation, those that are joining other than presenters are really in listen-only mode, but if you have questions, you can send your questions at any time through the chat box in the corner, the lower right-hand corner of your screen, and those will go to us as presenters, and then we will have an opportunity to respond to your questions at the end of the session, but you can send them as they come to you. The PowerPoint slides and the recording of the webinar will be available at the GrandRally and Generations United's websites after the presentation, so you'll get a link and information about how to access them afterwards. Okay, so with that, we are happy to have you with us today. I am Jaya Peterson-Lent at Generations United, and I am here with
Adam Otto with Generations United.
And we are just looking forward to doing sort of a GrandRally 101 for you about what to expect for the rally. I have an opportunity to ask and answer any questions that you may have. And this is what the agenda will look like for the day. So first we're going to just do an overview of the events at the GrandRally, the day of and leading up to the rally. We'll talk a little bit about best ways to prepare for your trip. We're going to talk about the importance of participating in the advocacy piece of the rally and legislative visits with your members of Congress. Talk about how you can schedule those visits if you plan to participate in them. And then we're also going to talk about opportunities for virtual Grand Rally participation for those of you or others that you know that might be really interested and wish that they could come to Washington, D.C., but for whatever variety of reasons aren't able to join us in person. We're really looking forward to engagement from around the country through our virtual Grand Rally opportunities. So we will touch on that. And then finally, we'll have an opportunity for question and answer at the end. So just a bit about the schedule for starts. All of this information is available on the GrandRally website at www.grandrally2017.org. So if you have questions, hopefully you can find the information that you need there, but we will walk through it as well. So, of course, the first events related to the Grand Rally is this webinar that you're on right now. There will be a follow-up webinar as well on April 26th from 1 to 2:15 Eastern Time. And that one will focus a little more intensively on educating your members of Congress when you're at the Grand Rally. And we will also have some more details actually about the virtual Grand Rally at that webinar on April 26th. So please spread the word. We are thrilled that you all are early and energized in joining the first webinar, but we do expect and hope for more folks to be participating in the April 26th webinar. Then, as we get to the day before the rally, on May 9th, there is an opportunity for an in-person advocacy training, and that will be from 2 to 3:30 on May 9th, and we expect that to take place here from our headquarters here at 25 East Street in Washington, D.C. And then just down the road from where that training is, walking distance, there will be the Grand Rally dinner. So this gives chance for folks that are interested to go take a walk or get changed and get ready for the Grand Rally dinner. And then come down to the Grand Rally dinner at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, and where we will have a reception from 6 to 7, followed immediately by the celebratory dinner at that same location from 7 to 9:30, and we are putting together a fun and engaging program for that dinner, which we will share details about pretty soon as they become available. Then rest up that night, and we look forward to the day of the rally. So those that aren't able to come in the day before but are interested in participating in advocacy training can attend the advocacy training the morning of the rally from 9:30 to 11 o'clock. There will be another opportunity for advocacy training that's the same training as the day before, so there's no need to attend both. You can select one and go to it. And then folks head out, grab a bite to eat, and then beginning at about 12, folks will be gathering on the west grassy front of the U.S. Capitol for pre-rally activities. There'll be some music, there'll be some booths of the different Grand Rally co-sponsoring organizations and other resource organizations where you can pick up information. And then the Grand Rally program itself starts at 1 o'clock. It goes from 1 to 2:30 p.m. where we'll have a variety of speakers and entertainment take place during the Grand Rally program. And then after the program, those that are interested in participating in legislative visits can go off in their groups to their various visits from 2:30 to 5 o'clock. We will have on site at the rally an information table in case you were trying to schedule a visit, weren't able to connect with your legislative office, but find out that there might be other people from your state that have. We can help connect you with those so you can go along a visit with others and connect with other people from your state or locality. We also will have some space up on the hill where you can connect with other Grand Rally participants in between legislative visits. They'll have some designated space in the cafeterias on both the Senate House Office Building side and the House Office Building side, so that you can stop get a drink of water, share highlights from your experience, that kind of thing. There'll be a GrandRally staff person that you can talk to and can direct you to those opportunities. So for folks that may not have ever come to Washington before, that might seem a little bit overwhelming, but just to know that a lot of information is on the website, and there will be volunteers and people there to help provide you information and direct you to these different activities. So I'm going to turn it over to Adam. He's going to talk a little bit more about how to prepare for your trip and a little bit of the lay of the land in terms of how to get around from one place to another to put you at ease.
Right, thank you, Jaya. So, we know that a lot of folks have not been to a GrandRally before, so we put together on our website kind of a section that covers a lot of what I'm going to talk about in a little more detail. So I definitely recommend that you go to planning your trip at grandrally2017.org. And so as you're reviewing that section, probably your first step after that is to reach out to your state contact, who's kind of like the person in your state who you would go to find out, what other people in the state are doing, how people in the state are going to participate in the rally, whether that's like the virtual rally or like an actual presence. So we encourage you to look there and, communicate with them. As for some of the kind of planning your trip content, we have, so let's start with hotels. Unfortunately, we do not have an official kind of hotel option for the rally, but the website has like multiple ideas kind of around the DC area. Typically, prices are pretty high in the spring, unfortunately. And so, if you're looking for a hotel right around the Capitol, it might cost more than, $300. But we don't want that to be daunting because there are plenty of options that aren't too much further away that, might also work for in a less expansive price point. So, yeah, please take a look at those. Similarly, well, not similarly, meals, I don't want to get too much into those, but there's a whole host of options around the Capitol. So I encourage you to take a look and see what's on offer. In addition, there's also, if you're going on hill visits, there's plenty of places to eat in the buildings themselves. Weather and what to wear. So it's spring, so we know the weather can be a little bit unpredictable, right? So we definitely encourage you to check the weather before you come. But kind of a general rule of thumb is, you'll want to wear layers or like lighter clothing and then have a jacket at the ready. And then, of course, bring an umbrella and poncho. We really hope it doesn't rain, but just in case it does, we want to be prepared, right? Above all, want to wear comfortable shoes. There's going to be some degree of walking almost no matter how you choose to travel. And I'll get into a little more of that in a second when we talk about kind of security. But as for getting around DC, we have a pretty good public transportation system. So you can go via bus, subway, taxi, or ride-sharing service, or of course walk. Actually, there's also like bicycle sharing too. But anyway, there's particular information on each mode of transportation on the website. But as I said, you can't get too close to the Capitol complex by car due to security restrictions. So yeah, you will have to probably walk a little bit. So kind of moving into actually being on the Capitol, there's security procedures that prevent you from bringing in certain items as well. So we encourage you to review the full list of those on the website. And you will also want to allow time before a visit to get through a security screening and factor in the time that it will take to kind of walk. So one thing I will note is that if you're going to the Capitol, you can't bring food or drink, but you can bring small amounts into House and Senate buildings. And
I'll just make one piece of clarity in terms of different spaces and buildings, because sometimes that's unfamiliar to people. So the Grand Rally itself is going to take place in front of the U.S. Capitol. So the pictures that you see on TV of the U.S. Capitol, we will be in front of the Capitol on the grass in front of the Capitol. When you're facing the Capitol, however, there are offices for the senators and offices for the members of the House in separate buildings on either side of the Capitol. So if you're facing the Capitol to the right, there are 3 office buildings that are where the members of the House of Representatives have their meeting space. And on the left, there are 3 office buildings where the senators have their offices and primary meeting space. So those are separate buildings from the main Capitol. And so that's part of what we need to be planning for, is the time to walk to those buildings and go through separate security for those buildings. And so they have a separate set of security requirements than the Capitol itself. Most people, unless you've organized a tour, probably won't be going into the Capitol itself. You'll be going into those separate office buildings. Because there are separate buildings, there's separate security systems for them. So every time you leave and exit and go into the building, there's a separate security system. Recognizing that there's a lot of walking to be done, we do want to provide some information on some tips for if you have mobility issues and need some assistance with accessibility. So
we absolutely don't want walking to be a barrier to folks. So there are definitely options for that. You can find kind of a link to like congressional accessibility procedures on the website, and they're very committed to helping people, get around. There's actually an Office of Congressional Accessibility Services that is a good place to start. We also recommend that you reach out to your members of Congress office if you're meeting with them and see how they can help you, because it's their job to help their constituents meet with them. So they'll do a lot to help you get there. And so with that, I would like to move into registration. If you have not already registered for the rally, please do so. And I'll just walk through a little bit about what you can expect to see on the registration form. So obviously you'll want your names and contact information, and that will include folks that you anticipate will be coming with you. There is a small fee associated with the rally. It is $15 per person to attend any events associated. And to be clear, that means that if you pay $15, you can go to the dinner, rally trainings, rally, anything, and you also get a t-shirt. This fee can be waived due to a hardship. So we are, open to, we don't want cost to be a barrier. You will then indicate what events that you're planning to attend. So the options that are on the sheet are the rally itself, of course, the dinner, training, the in-person trainings, and then just for our information, if you plan to attend hill visits later in the day. And then finally, you'll want to enter your t-shirt size, because we want to order how much we need, right? So I think then we'll talk about kind of advocacy.
Right. And I'll just say, if there's any concerns about registration, Adam is a great person to contact, and will help walk through it. We've gotten a lot of questions about people coming on buses, and we're happy to work, sort of separately with folks registering really large numbers of people on buses. So if you're one of those, feel free to reach out to us. I think Yvonne is working with most of you, but just want to acknowledge that we are trying to make this system as functional and easy as possible, but we are learning with you as it's a new process this year. So appreciate that. All right, so now we want to talk a little bit about why this is such an important event and the real opportunities that we have with the rally. So just want to talk a little bit about the overall purposes of the rally and why advocacy in particular is so important. And I hope that we will be able to hear from a couple of folks who have been to rallies before. to just talk about from a I've been there and it's cool kind of perspective as well. So I will start, and then I'm hopeful that Annette Saunders from Baltimore is able to use her audio pin, which for Annette should be pound 5 pound. If we can't hear you, try that.
I can hear you.
Oh, great. Annette is on. Fabulous. Okay. So I will talk about the 4 sort of highlight purposes of the rally, and then I'll turn it over to Annette to talk a little bit about how she's found it as a valuable experience in the past. So, when we first started doing the Grand Rally, our main real purpose was to elevate the issue, the incredible strength and important role of caregivers in children's lives when children can't be raised by their parents. So really to elevate this issue with members of Congress and educate them on the importance of supporting families. So that is a huge and important role of the Grand Rally. In addition to that, we really want it to be an opportunity to celebrate the important role of caregivers and families in the lives of children, so a celebratory opportunity. We also want to be raising awareness with the general public and the press so that we really are making sure that folks understand and value the role of grand families. And then finally, I think the other one that really has evolved over the years that wasn't necessarily in our plans, but we've really come to realize how important it is and really try to nurture those opportunities is to build those connections and inspire folks as you're going back to your communities. So we hear about, this was so transformational for me to build these connections. One of the participants who's been to all 4 rallies in the past, Adrienne Charniak, who was going to join us today, but she is sick, really, she always conveys rallies gives hope to those that when you're feeling like you don't have any at a given moment. And she also talked about how she's formed friendships at rallies that have lasted for years and have allowed her to support each other. So those are just some of the things that we hear about the value of the rally. But in addition to that, elevating these families with legislators is really important because legislators, those of us that are in Washington talk to legislative staff on a regular basis, and it's important, but they really want to hear from their constituents, from people that are living the real experience. So there's no substitute for legislators and their staff hearing directly from you as caregivers about your own experience. You are the expert on that experience. You don't need to be an expert on the legislative process. You don't need to be an expert on just what to say at what moment or what the most recent legislation that's happening. You need to be an expert on your life and your children and what it takes to make sure that the children that you are caring for can thrive. So you raising your voice and participating in these advocacy opportunities is critically important, and we have seen it make legislative change and have an impact. So it's very important. And from there, I will turn it over to Annette to just say, talk a little bit about your experience and what you've valued about it in the past. Annette?
Okay. I believe I've attended all 4 of the Grand Rallies.
Annette, can you speak up a little bit? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Okay. I said I believe I've attended all of the Grand Rallies from Baltimore. And my experience has been that it puts it into context for me about how relevant, important, and significant it is for people who are impacted by the cause to give voice to the cause. And I've seen what it's been like to go the first time and not know what to say and just feel like, well, I'll just go along to be part of it. But as I came to understand the purpose of the advocacy, to speak up and give voice to what you believe the issues are, the legislators listened. They wanted to hear what the folks who were going to be impacted by the message, how it was going to impact them. That lesson taught me a lot. The value is, if you don't give voice to your own situation, someone else will. And it may not be what you think is relevant or important. And the Grand Rally is a perfect opportunity to come together with like-minded people going through the same kind of experiences and being on one accord and giving voice to what those issues are. We've had opportunities to bring grandparents at each rally, and some of those grandparents have spoke before the legislators before and have been heard. We've had grandparents who experienced from the rally. They came back to Baltimore and was able to approach their local leaders to give voice to what they had learned from it. So it's a tremendous opportunity to feel a part of something that is much larger than what's happening in your own backyard, but you know the challenges are the same regardless of what state or community that you live in. It's a great time.
Great, thank you so much, Annette, for that. As you said, a veteran of 4 Grand Rallies in the past, so really appreciate your perspective. Before we move in, we're going to go from there to how to schedule a visit with your member of Congress. But before we move into that, I realized that I neglected in the beginning to talk a little bit about who all are the leaders in putting this rally together. And I think it's really important in terms of it conveys the diverse group of partners in this effort. So in addition to Generations United, where Adam and I are from, the co-sponsors of the Grand Rally are the Children's Defense Fund, Casey Family Programs, the National Kinship Alliance for Children, Grand Families of America, AARP, and Foster Club. So of course we have the perspective of a leading aging organization, awesome young youth voices in Foster Club, 2 caregiver-led organizations, in addition to the Children's Defense Fund Advocacy Group and then Generations United, which spans the generations. So we're really thrilled, and Casey Family Programs, which has been a longtime champion and is providing significant support for the event to happen. So we're just really thrilled that we have all these perspectives and these support coming together. And these are going to be great resources for you at the rally. All of those co-sponsoring organizations will have booths with information and resources for you to learn more about what they have to offer, in addition to some government organizations and some other resource groups that will have booths and information at the rally. So we didn't want to neglect that important context. So from there, we are going to now move to how to schedule a visit with your member of Congress, then talk a little bit about virtual rally opportunities, and then move to Q&A. And remember, you can be punching in questions at any time.
All right. So step 1 to scheduling a Hill visit is finding out who your members of Congress are. So if you don't happen to know, you can visit a website called govtrack.us, and they've got you just enter your address in the box on the page, and it'll bring up both your senators and your local, your district's representative in the House. And so from there, you can visit the members' webpage for updates on the issues that they're working on as you're planning your visit. And you can also call the number for the office. And then, so you would obviously call them to make an appointment, right? Once you get in touch with somebody, you kind of tell them your name, where you're from, and then ask to speak with the scheduler so you can make a scheduling request. And so sometimes they will prefer that you put that in the form of an email. And if so, like this script on this page, you would kind of follow that in your email. So, consult this script as you're, reaching out to them. There's more information on this and on emailing in the Hill Visit Guide, which we will be sending out to registrants very soon. And it's linked in the presentation. So once you actually submit the scheduling request, you want to make sure that you follow up with the office because, they're quite busy with the process of, drafting legislation and whatnot. So, make sure if you haven't heard back from them to follow up via phone, email, or maybe even fax. And you can, we would love it if you would email us your confirmed meeting information so that we can share that with anyone who wants to attend those meetings as well. And so all I need is, what office you're meeting with, and if it's a member of staff, that staff person's name would be great, but it's not necessary. And also the time of the meeting. And then
yeah, and I will just jump in on one point that perhaps we haven't made clear. But typically what we've done in past years is we ask, any individual that's interested in scheduling legislative visits will schedule with their House member. So, of course, everybody has one representative and 2 senators. So anybody can schedule with their House member. For the Senate visits, we ask that there be coordination with others in your state so that one Senate office isn't getting asked for, multiple people to have visits on the same topic within a 2.5-hour period. So for that meeting, we actually urge our state contacts to be the lead at scheduling the Senate visits, and then we will communicate and share that information. So if you're interested in doing a Senate visit, we urge you to contact your state contact to be in touch in that way. If you have trouble getting in touch with them, just let us know, and we can be a coordinator of that. But that's a really effective way to coordinate folks. And then on the site of the GrandRally, I mentioned the different tables and booths that will be available. There will be one that is Hill Visit Central, which will be Adam, and he will have the list of everybody that we know is going on, that we are aware of that's going on what visit, so that we can build those connections and make sure that there's adequate materials and people know where they're going and we direct people to the right place. So if you're attending individually, go ahead and schedule your visit with your House member, but check in on the Senate office building. If you're coming from a state where you're the only one from the rally coming, then go for it and schedule the ones with your senators as well. But if it's a state where there is a state contact and there's a lot of others, it's great to coordinate. Okay, so next we're going to move into the virtual rally a little bit, and then we will move to any questions that have come up about anything that we've talked about today. So we have just put together information on the virtual rally, and more is to come. This is the first time that we will be doing the virtual rally in this way because, believe it or not, it's been so long since we've had a Grand Rally that last Grand Rally social media almost wasn't a thing. So we have new opportunities now. So there are 3 ways to participate in the virtual rally. The first one is something that we have done during past rallies. We will, as we get closer to the rally, have on the website a one-page document that talks about how you can make a toll-free call to reach all of your members of Congress, so your representative and both your senators. It'll be a call to 800 number, put in the passcode. There'll be a prompt that says something along the lines of, welcome to the Grand Rally call-in. Here's how you follow the prompts to reach your member of Congress. And so then you'll put in your information, respond to their questions, and then they will direct you to your representative's office, for example. Then there will be some sample talking points of just a simple message that you can convey to the person that answers the phone when you reach that office. Then you would call back and do it again and reach your senator, and then call back and do it again and reach your other senator. So it will all be clearly laid out in the one-page document for how to do that. So that's the call-in day, and again, it is toll-free, which is terrific. That call-in opportunity is actually going to be made available the day before the Grand Rally on May 9th, the day of the Grand Rally on May 10th, and the day after on May 11th. So if you're not able to attend or you're busy on the day of the rally but you still want to make the phone call and participate virtually that way, there is 3 days to participate, which is great. The other opportunity, I'm going to skip the order of the slides a little bit and go next with live streaming. So we are really thrilled that this year we plan to live stream the Grand Rally. We're still figuring out what format. My expectation is that we would probably live stream it through Facebook, but stay tuned to the website for details. We will put together some very specific instructions about what time the live streaming will be available, how to tap into the live streaming, and what live streaming means is that you'll be able to go to a link on the internet somewhere, click on that link, and you will see like a live video of the rally taking place. So that is an exciting opportunity. We're looking forward to it. We're still learning exactly how it will work. But we are really thrilled that that provides an opportunity for people around the country that aren't able to come to DC to still be engaged and participate and see the program and feel a sense of unity and connection around it. What we are encouraging for those that can is if you have a support group or a large group through your program or just friends, that you consider throwing a virtual Grand Rally party. And we have some ideas on the website for how to do that. So find a location. You want to have a location ideally where people can bring their phones, where there is a phone available for people to use, that there would be a screen or a way to project the virtual rally through a live stream so people can watch it together. All you need is a place to project it and access to the internet. And then if you want to really, do more with it, plan a meal together. You might even think about inviting a local leader who you want to really raise awareness about these issues with, ask them to attend, or maybe even offer some opening remarks before or after the live stream. So, have fun with it. Think of a way that you can pull people together. And then at some point in the midst of all that, or at the end, you could encourage people to then make the phone call and use the one-page printout to call their members of Congress and elevate this issue with them. So again, the live streaming, making the phone call, and the event. And then finally, for social media. Again, all of these are optional. If you're not comfortable with social media, skip this option. But if you are someone that likes to be on social media, does things on Facebook or even Twitter, we will be putting together some, we call it like a one-page cheat sheet, which is basically a one-page piece that says tips for things that you can post to your Facebook page about the rally, encouraging other people, for example, to make a phone call through the 800 number. Or if you tweet, we will put together samples of what you can actually tweet at your members of Congress, so to communicate with your members of Congress about the important role of grand families directly through Twitter. So again, right now there's just sort of a shell of information on those 3 ways to participate, but we will be putting up soon one-page pieces on each of those elements. So one piece on how to make a phone call, or one piece on sample social media, and one piece on how to tune in through the live stream. So that is the virtual Grand Rally. And now we are ready to take any questions that come through. So one question that we had about Grand Rally registration. So the Grand Rally registration this year, there is a $15 fee for the Grand Rally registration. We just wanted to clarify that that fee comes with a t-shirt, which is great, but that fee we do not want to be a barrier for anyone. So If it is a barrier, we know that folks are fundraising to, get to the rally in the first place. There is an opportunity to make a note in the registration form in the comment box that you need to request that fee be waived. And you can request that and we can waive the fee and you will still get your t-shirt. So we don't want that to be a barrier. So I just want to emphasize that. Other questions, some folks said, what can we do to do more to spread the word about the Grand Rally, and want to make sure that folks know that we have great resources on the website that I'll go to in more detail after this Q&A time. And that is, if you go to the GrandRally2017.org and click on the About tab, down from there, there's something that's called Spread the Word. And in the Spread the Word section, we have everything from Facebook posts to newsletter blurbs that you can just pick up and pop in your newsletter, to flyers that you can print out and postcards that you can print out. In addition to that, we do actually even have a limited number of postcards here on hand at our office. So first come, first serve, but if you ask quickly after this, we could maybe send you a handful that you could take to an event, so you can let us know if that's of interest to you. So please use the resources on the Spread the Word site. Other questions. We did mention, the question is, how do I become a state contact? So we did mention that there were state contacts listed on the website. That's again at the About, on the About button, and then drop down to state contact. We have state contacts on close to half the states, but there is not a state contact for every state. So if you are in a state that doesn't have a state contact and would be interested in being one, or have a recommendation for somebody who you think might be a great state contact, you should contact Yvonne Thompson Friend. And Yvonne's email is
on the website.
Is on the website, GrandRally. I don't want to say it, I'm going to get it wrong. But it's on the website in the registration section. I will get it before this call is over, so I make sure I say it to you accurately. But she is going to be the best person to connect with about a state contact. You can also always email Adam, which is aotto@gu.org, and we can pass it along to Yvonne. So that is how to become a state contact. Any other questions? I'm looking for other questions coming through on our question bar. Buses. So there are a couple of states. We had a question about how do I know if I have a bus coming from my state. So we do have a number of states that are in the process of organizing buses to the rally. And we know that in most cases, those buses are sort of coming in morning of, staying for the rally, and leaving afterwards. Apologize for the sirens in the background. We always have that here. So buses for the rally, so far we're expecting buses from at least 8 states, probably more. And the way you can learn if there's a bus coming from your state is to contact your state contact. But I can say off the top of my head that we're expecting them from New York, Delaware, Virginia has 2, North Carolina. I wish Yvonne, maybe she can type that in a reminder for us for the, let's see, who am I missing? Pennsylvania, we know in the Pittsburgh area. We have a lot of interest also in the Philadelphia area. And those are the ones that come to mind off the top of my head. So, good. Any other questions?
So somebody just asked if we can get a copy of the PowerPoint. So we are happy to send that along to registrants of the webinar. And if you just can't wait, you should have a pane on your computer. If you know, on the GoToWebinar interface, there's a handouts drop down, and we already put the webinar up in that. So if you want to download that now and share it immediately, feel free. But otherwise, we will follow up with an email.
And I just got a note from Yvonne that it sounds like she's happy for you to call her if you'd rather not email her if you're interested in being a state contact. So her number is 215-844-4744 if you are interested in being a state contact or have a question about a bus, because she knows all the details of the buses that are planned. Any other questions before we move to our other list of resources on the website? Okay, great. So I think the other thing that I haven't mentioned is that we also have a Facebook page. So that's another way to spread the word, is to invite folks to visit the Facebook page and post stuff about it. So to spread the word through social media in that way, that's been a cool and fun resource for people. And I neglected to mention that and spread the word. So great. We also, I would say, if there's some question that didn't get covered in this webinar that you want to make sure that we cover in the next webinar that we're having, please feel free to type that into the question box or to email Adam. Maybe if it's a bigger issue that you want to make sure that we include in that next webinar, we would love to hear that. So either type it now or email Adam at aauto@gu.org, and we will work on providing more details in the next webinar on those topics. So I think we are ready to wrap up here ahead of time with just providing you a list of additional resources that we have. So again, all of these resources are at GrandRally2017.org. Adam walked through the planning your trip information on the website, but there's more details there, and it's available for your reference, so we hope you will visit it. We also have the list of state contacts. So if you are trying to find out who else from your state is going, go to the state contact list and give them a call or send them an email. In addition to that, if you are still in fundraising mode, which I know many of you are, we have a list of fundraising tips on the website. So please go and visit it. There's some great and creative ideas. In addition, from getting ideas from that, if you have a great, cool fundraising idea that you want to share, we would love to hear about it. We have heard some really creative things on state contact calls. Please tell us what it is, send it to us, and then we can post it for other people to think about it. We can add it to our fundraising tips. We would love to hear from you. Information on how to schedule Hill visits is not up on the website yet.
It actually is on the website, yeah.
Thank you. Okay. A new addition to the website is information on how to schedule the Hill visits, very similar to what we walked through today, but that is available to you. And just so folks know, when you register for the rally, if you click the button that you're interested in going on Hill visits, we will also send you by email a packet of materials that's even more detailed on how to set up your Hill visits. So you can, if you are less comfortable with looking at stuff on the website, register for the rally and we'll send you that packet.
And we'll start sending those out at the beginning of next week.
Yeah, so coming soon. But you got to register to get one. Please register.
And you can also find it on the website, but yeah.
Right. Yeah, thank you. And we just want to emphasize, registration is really helpful to us. If you register, that means that you'll be getting the information and the regular updates on what's happening in the rally. And it also is very helpful for us to plan and help make the rally go smoothly. If we have a sense of who's coming from where and when, that helps make a smoother process. So please emphasize registration. And again, do not let the cost be a barrier. Just let us know if it needs to be waived. Next, I mentioned a couple of times the spread the word part of the website, so please use it. It's there for you, and let us know if there's something else you need that isn't there, and we can try to provide it for you. The virtual rally, as I mentioned, is a new tab on the website. There is some initial information there, but we will have those 3 specific one-pagers on the call-in day, how to access the live stream, and the social media cheat sheet are soon to come. And then finally, the other useful part of the rally, hopefully, is the frequently asked questions, where we respond to those questions we frequently get. So I'm getting other questions coming up. Adam, do you want to raise what other questions?
Yeah, so somebody asked about the right to rebroadcast this webinar on internet radio.
The right to rebroadcast this webinar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, let's take note. I think I need to internally just double check if that's acceptable, but my expectation is yes. So we can take down the person that asked that question. Do we have their information?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we will connect with you offline. My expectation is that it's probably acceptable. If others are wondering about that, follow up with Adam at aauto@gu.org after this call. Other questions? Is that all we have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. Then I think we are ahead of time, which usually folks don't complain about. So we're pleased with that. So I think that I will just highlight for you. Let's move to our contact information. If questions come up, you can contact either Adam or myself. If you have questions specifically for Yvonne, I shared her phone number, and you're also welcome to connect us, and we'll connect you by email. So I just want to highlight that our next webinar will be on April 26th from 1 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, that will focus on planning for Hill visits, or what to do when you're actually educating your members of Congress. And then we will also have more details on opportunities related to the virtual rally at that time. And we will have a lengthy Q&A opportunity to make sure that we respond to any burning questions that have come up as you're getting closer to the rally. So with that, as a reminder, we will be posting this webinar to our site, and as well as the PowerPoint, and we hope that you will share it with others. So thanks again, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you in May. Thank you.